Today we're going to be looking at wheels for the MGA Fastback project. Let's get going. So when I got this car, it had these aluminum slots, which are factory for the Mustang that donated its suspension and drivetrain to the project by whoever did that in the past. And originally the idea of this project was just something quick, easy, and cheap. Yeah, but we were just going to find a rear window, quarter windows, cut those out of cars with all the surrounding sheet metal, graft it all together, get it done, and just do it quick, have some fun. And of course, we've blown way past that now. So these would have worked well, I think, for the rusty rat rod look that I was originally going to go for. But I've also found out when I was looking for tires for these, there's not that many options at all. So that made me start thinking about something else. Now these wheels only exist on this project at the moment simply because I had a set of these wheels laying around from an old Fox body project I did years ago. And amazingly enough, two of these still held air while we only had two of the aluminum slots holding air, so that's how that ended up on there, just to make it roll. So I started thinking about wheel options. Now the aluminum slots are actually only 13-inch wheels, and we needed something that'll fill up the wheels a little bit more than that too. So I wanted to go back to a 15-inch wheel. This is an MGA 1600 wheel, which obviously isn't going to work because this is 4x108, completely different bolt pattern than what this one is. So I can't just use these. But I started thinking, what if I can find something that looks at least close enough to this, that'll fit this bolt pattern and work for this car? So after doing a bit of searching around, I found these wheels here. They're the right bolt pattern, close enough in style to kind of look like the original. It's only 10 hole instead of 12, and they're round instead of oval, but I wasn't finding that many options because everything I was finding was giving me an offset that would not work. And this was the only thing I could find in an offset that would actually work. This is a 15x6, 35 millimeter offset. Most everything I was finding was giving me 42 millimeter offset, which was sucking it in too far, and I would hit the shock brackets. And as it is, these are going to be somewhat tight on if I was trying to do any sporty driving and had a whole lot of sidewall bulge. So I'll have to make sure I pick the right tires. So I went ahead and ordered one of these things up, which I have no idea what the actual fitment of these are. These are just sold as a winter wheel for front-wheel drive cars, and it just happens to be the dimensions I need, and I saw no applications of what they actually fit. Now, I bought one because I knew it would fit on the back, and I wanted to see how well it would fit on the front. So, now it's really close to the ball joint here, but I'm not worried at all about that, because this thing sits too tall. We need to lower this car at some point down about 1 inch or 2 inches. I gotta double check some measurements, but roughly in that 1 to 2 inch range, we need to lower it. So that'll put that, we'll put drop spindles on it since it's a Mustang and those are easy to find. So that should bring it up there and be no problem for clearances there. But now, one problem with lowering this car is the oil pan is already as low as I would possibly want it to go, sitting at the height it is now. Can't even get the jack up underneath that bar right here that's protecting the oil pan. So however much I lower the suspension, I'm going to have to raise the engine. So it might be a little while before I actually get to flaring the fenders out to clear everything, because obviously I got to get the suspension lowered, the engine raised, all that stuff before, so I know where all this is at. But you can see these wheels here that I had on before, how much they stick out. The new wheels suck it in 1 1/8 inches from what these are. So that makes it a whole lot better here where we don't have to flare it nearly as much to clear the tires. So now here's a little cleaner example of the MGA 1600 wheel, but you'll notice that they have these studs here to hold the hubcap. So, but that's what we're missing on these wheels. So I got to figure out a way to mount those hubcaps. My first thought, unless I come up with a better one, is do some careful measuring here. And we got these lift-to-dot studs here that we could make work by putting 3 of those in there. So here's a comparison of stock wheel for the MGA and the wheel that I found with the hubcaps on to show the similarities and difference between the two. I think once we paint this thing silver and get these mounted, it'll be a close enough proximity to pass.